Welcome to Entrepreneur Showcase. Each week we meet an entrepreneur, a person working out in the entrepreneurial world here in the Gulf Coast region. And today we'd like to welcome Mr. Ben Bowden. And Ben, you're an attorney, you're practicing in Gulfport, and this is your first time on the show. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Edward. Thank you for having me.
So, okay, now we do a show called Law Focus. So we have an attorney that comes on and talks about law in general and new things that are happening, new elements that are happening in the nation. And so I think our viewers have somewhat of a, you know, we have a law program. Now, in your situation, you practice a specific or a couple of specific types of law. Tell us about that.
Right. Generally, it's personal injury law, but I tend to focus on workers' compensation law, and that's it's a broad term that involves injuries that occur on the land, and it also involves injuries that occur on the water. Navigable waters is what they call. So if you're injured on the land, you're going to come under either one of two statutes more likely in this area, and that is the Mississippi workers' compensation laws or the Longshore Harbor workers' compensation laws. For instance, if you're injured unloading or loading a ship at the Port of Gulfport, or if you're building a ship at Ingalls, you're going to come under the Longshore Harbor Workers' Compensation Act. If you're working at a pulpwood mill in Wiggins or somewhere like that, you're going to come under the Mississippi Workers' Compensation Act. So, but broadly, they are workers' compensation. Now, there's another area that I handle, and that is injuries where people are on a rig out in the Gulf of Mexico or on a supply boat or a ship or something like that on navigable waters. Those people would be considered Jones Act seamen and come under maritime law, and I do that as well.
You mentioned a minute ago before we went on the air that the remedy that a person has if they were injured at their job, let's say on a ship in the international waters, the maritime law that comes into effect, there is a remedy for them to be compensated, but one of the remedies that is not available to them is to sue the employer. I did not know that.
Under the general workers' compensation laws, and each state has enacted their own workers' compensation acts, but most of them are pretty consistent, and that is because the employer or their insurance carrier who insures them for workers' comp are going to be responsible for injuries to a worker regardless of whether or not they're negligent or not. It's strict liability. The acts take away the worker's ability to then, as well as workers' compensation, sue the employer. So it's what we call the exclusive remedy provision of the workers' compensation laws. That is usually the worker's only remedy to recover if in case they're injured on the job. So it's a very important thing to get that right, because there's a lot of times no other remedy available to them.
And so the remedy would be medical?
Medical, they would have to, and that's usually unlimited dollar amount, whatever the amount of treatment needed to return the worker to a plateau where they're not going to recover any longer. Mm-hmm. They have to provide that. And then what's called indemnity benefits. That's weekly or biweekly benefits that are paid to the injured worker to replace wages, lost wages, although it's not term lost wages, but to replace that during the period of time that they're recovering from their injury.
I see. Well, yeah, you've been in the Gulfport market. How long have you been practicing?
A little over 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
Wow, it does fly pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Seems like yesterday.
It seems like yesterday. And we have something in common. I graduated from Belhaven College in Jackson, and so did you.
I certainly did. I graduated in 1984, and I thought it was a wonderful experience. It's a great school, and I know it's got some really, really fine leadership at this time.
Right, we were talking about the president, the current president of the university, Dr. Parrott, and he's been there about 20 years, and he's done a great job with his work there.
Well, I cannot recognize the campus. I drove through a couple of weeks ago, and it's a different place than when you and I were there.
Yeah, it's growing. So the information, the contact information, if anybody out there would like to ask questions about the types of law you practice, personal injury, or the other area, maritime law, and what's the other?
Longshore harbor workers' compensation. And I also do various other personal injuries. I've handled 18-wheeler accidents and automobile accidents and things like that. They can call me, Edward, at, of course, 228-896-5652. My paralegals, her name is Stacy. My extension's 310. That's my direct extension. Her extension is 304. And we'll be happy to take your calls. My email is Bowden at benbowdenlaw.com. And we pride ourselves on responding as quickly as possible to any email inquiries that we do get as well.
And seawaylaw.com is the website.
That's the website. That is correct.
Well, it's been great to have you in today, Ben. Thank you for coming, and good luck with everything going forward. And I hope that some of the viewers out there will, when they need your service, they will call you. And
thank you, Edward. Thank you for having me.
And good to having you on the show. Thank you.
Man.
We'll be back right after this.
How you doing? I'm Dr. Lauren Timmons here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi at Timmons Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, where we pride ourselves in the latest dental technology for implants, including 3D x-rays, for orthodontics, including digital impressions, and same-day crowns and veneers. So check us out at the website below or call us for an appointment today.
Let's put our heads together on a great staycation. Berry Creek Cabins in nearby Bogalusa, Louisiana is your wilderness staycation headquarters. Cozy cabin lodging for 4 to 12 people with modern amenities, kitchens, relaxing porches, fishing, and a 2,700 square foot party deck pavilion. Call 985-730-4395 or berrycreekcabins.com. Berry Creek Cabins is family staycation headquarters.
Furniture Galore and More has been doing business on the coast in Biloxi for over 30 solid years. We provide quality furniture from our floor to your door. That means you can buy it today and take it away, or you can have it delivered. New living room furniture, bedrooms, comfortable leather recliners, and so much more for your home decor. So many selections, layaway and financing is available. Isn't it time to spruce things up? Furniture Galore and More. Ain't nothing like it on the coast. Stop by and tell them Lexi and Nick sent you.
Adventures Pub and Spirits awarded locals' favorite hangout, best late-night eatery, and best bar on the coast, along with TripAdvisor's Hall of Fame, offering a large menu of traditional coast seafood favorites like fresh oysters, royal reds, seafood platters, po' boys, as well as wings, burgers, steaks, and much more. Stop by and join us for our $9.95 weekday lunch special. That's Adventures Pub and Spirits, located 1 block north of the Hard Rock Casino, downtown Biloxi.
Welcome back to Entrepreneur Showcase. And now let's meet from the Gulfport Museum of History, Pat Pennell and Betty Shaw.
Thank you.
Well, ladies, welcome to the program. And you know, we were here together 1 year ago, right?
Right.
How time flies when you're having fun.
We've got to stop meeting like this.
We have to stop meeting like this. Well, you know, a lot of stuff has happened since last February to now. The pandemic came. How did the pandemic affect the Gulfport Museum of History? Can you speak to that, Pat?
Yes, I can. We opened in March the 4th and promptly closed March the 14th. So we were not open very long, and you know, in that time, I have to admit, we had very good response. People, we had a lot of visitors. It just so happens it was during spring break, so we had out-of-town visitors come see us and everything, and then, boom, we were forced to close.
Forced to close.
Forced to close.
And when did you reopen again?
Oh, goodness.
We reopened
September?
limited days in
Yeah.
September.
All those months closed.
Well, yes.
But we did work. I mean, we worked behind the scenes. We were not, you know, it was not an
Well,
idle
we were close
time.
to visitors.
Right.
Because of the
But-
precautions of the pandemic.
Right, so,
Right.
but as small crews, you know, keeping the rules and regulations, we were able to do some of the things actually we weren't able to get ready or do before we opened the first time. So that gave us some time to get some new displays ordered, put up, and so forth. So it was not an idle time for us. And we were just looking, because of course we had no idea when we were going to be allowed to open, so we wanted to be ready when that time came. And I think Betty can attest to the fact that we did a pretty good job.
A lot of stuff got
So-
done behind the scenes.
Yeah, and she can
What
tell you
is
some of those.
what is the main thrust of the Gulfport Museum of History? What's it all about?
It's about Gulfport and the fact that there really isn't or wasn't a showcase now for the city of Gulfport, and how different and how important it is. It played a part in the history of the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Tell us about it. I mean, what are some of the significant things we might not know about Gulfport?
That it was founded on industry. It was planned and founded as a port city and a terminus to the railroad. It did not grow up like the romantic fishing village or the resort hotels like in Bay St. Louis. It strictly was founded on commerce, and I think maybe that's a little bit indicative of how it is today. At the time that it was founded, which was 1898, there was not a settlement there. There was actually there were two men that were working on the idea of having a railroad that would run from Gulfport, or from the coastline all the way to Jackson, and then further on up all the way to Chicago. But the impetus of founding the railroad there was shipping, and it was the shipping of the lumber mostly, because during that time frame the piney woods were just primed to be cut and shipped. And so along every few miles from the coast all the way up to Jackson really was stops on the railroad where sawmills were, so that lumber could be shipped out of the coast.
And the average person that's coming to the museum, what are you? Who's coming right now?
Well, we have who's coming now?
Yeah, I mean, is it? Well, do we have tourists coming into town?
We have some amazingly, we do have tourists coming to town. We have some really snowbirds who come, who are still coming. Not a lot. I think we're still a well-kept secret. We do have a sign that people will be driving downtown and see us. We do have a brochure, and we do communicate with the other museums in town. But we do have some people that, we don't have a lot of locals, but we do have some people that have begun to donate things. Maybe right now they're going through their attics, you know, and we have some wonderful collections of things that people have donated, books and brochures and things like that.
So that's the website, right? Historical Society of Gulfport. .org. Good, and people can learn more about it there, right?
Certainly.
So the events that are coming up, anything particular you want to talk about today?
Well, one thing I want to mention, that our days and hours that we are open now, we did cut back one day from our original plans, only because of the pandemic and so forth. But right now we're open Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays from 10 until 3. So, you know, we welcome any visitors during that time. And
And we do follow all the pandemic precautions of mask and social distancing, and that it is a safe place to come. And it's a fun place to come because the building itself was built in 1904, along with some of the other buildings there. And our permanent display there is of the railroad and of the office buildings that were built around the turn of the century. That's 1900, not 2000. And all the things that were there and the things that are still there now. We have some great photography there.
Mm-hmm.
So the exhibits there at the museum do you have actual artifacts from the history of Gulfport?
Yes.
Along with
Yes.
paintings and drawings and such?
Yes, we do. We have a one-hell section of just fun things like matchbook covers from restaurants that are gone, and Christmas ornaments and books. And we even have, years ago, one of our mayors was Ken Combs, and for his political advertising, he did a Ken Combs comb. We have little things like that, but we're also developing a book collection. Pat was lucky enough to get a donation of
Very large
academic donation of some books that are not only specifically Gulfport, but Mississippi history and coastal history, and several Mississippi history textbooks, which kind of tell the time. So we're developing a reference library, and as well as a way to have our archives there so that people could come and do research. And we're working on a project right now, the Bean Collection. Yes. And he was an architect that did some work on the coast in the 1920s and 30s, and a relative of his sent photographs, a nice collection of photographs, many different sizes. There were about 500 of those, and we're in the process of, we numbered them and we're having them scanned, and we'll be putting them on the Mississippi Digital Library collection that's based out of USM, so that they'll be available for the public to see.
That's great. Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back and talk more about the Gulfport Museum of History.
Great.
So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
It's another one. 5.
Hey girls, what are y'all counting?
We're counting all the Foster trucks we see.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It really is. There's so many of them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Foster's Air, calling we're there. Home of the old reliable.
11.
Let's put our heads together on a great staycation. Berry Creek Cabins in nearby Bogalusa, Louisiana is your wilderness staycation headquarters. Cozy cabin lodging for 4 to 12 people with modern amenities, kitchens, relaxing porches, fishing, and a 2,700 square foot party deck pavilion. Call 985-730-4395 or berrycreekcabins.com. Berry Creek Cabins is family staycation headquarters.
How you doing? I'm Dr. Lauren Timmons here in Ocean Springs, Mississippi at Timmons Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, where we pride ourselves in the latest dental technology for implants, including 3D x-rays, for orthodontics, including digital impressions, and same-day crowns and veneers. So check us out at the website below or call us for an appointment today.
Do you know what you're writing when they say, okay, we want some sad scenes, we want some happy scenes, or
yes?
what?
Well, they'll give me a topic.
They'll give you a
sometime.
topic.
Yeah,
a theme.
Yeah, they'll give me a theme, or they'll say, like now, of course, we know if they say we need Psy music. Well, I know what Psy is going to do. Everyone knows that character that he is. So if I wrote something, it would be just. You know, with those off times and those little pauses in there, because that's what ends up fitting into the scene. You know, it's all the comedic timing type of thing. So that's what I watch for now. when I send stuff in. It's all about timing and tempo.
So they'll give you a theme. So it's going to be a sad scene. You would.
Right, now if they do, yeah, sometimes they will say we need sad music or whatever, and then I would know to go in and give them something. Short, real pretty, that kind of stuff that they can lay behind, so whatever dialogue's going on, that sets kind of the mood.
It's just like a film. I mean, the soundtrack, it makes it. Welcome back. We're here today on Entrepreneur Showcase talking to Pat Pennell and Betty Shaw from the Gulfport Museum of History.
Yes.
Correct.
And you guys came on about a year ago before the pandemic, and we talked and we learned about it, but of course a lot has happened during that time. We had to close down a bit, but you're back going again, right?
Yes.
We are.
And so the city of Gulfport has helped you with this project. They're involved, aren't they?
Yes, they were gracious enough. Betty has tried for years. Betty is the founder of the Historical Society, and she's always felt like we needed a place for everything. So she has fought tirelessly, and through her efforts with the city, they graciously gave us 2 rooms of the old train depot. So that is when
finally gave up, right?
Finally gave up, she's a little bulldog over here. So, we originally, like you said, we were here a year ago. We originally opened March the 4th, closed March the 14th. Exactly. And so we're back in business again, 3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. And 10 to 3. And we've kind of changed the inside. If anybody actually visited us before we closed, after the original opening, we've made it a little more comfy. We've gotten a lot of yearbooks from local people, and we started having them sitting out. And it's amazing how the locals come and just want to sit and read the books. So I've kind of been the decorator and I've accumulated some furniture, some nice lounge chair, comfy chairs for people to feel comfortable in. So we invite people to come, look at our books, look at, enjoy what we have. And so far, I think everyone has really enjoyed it. We have, some of our displays are past displays right now, but when we reopened again in September, one of our members, who is a professional photographer, did some beautiful pictures of Katrina back. I mean, I know that's an oxymoron, but it's, he did the aftermath. And we had a large display of that. And one of the ironic things was that he took some pictures of the company that did the demolition of all of the casinos, which was C.F. Griffin, who, as it turns out, were the people who did the demolition for the Twin Towers. So Gary, unbeknownst, sent them some pictures that had their logo plastered all over it, and the president of the company, for thanks, sent him a chunk, a 50-pound or 60-pound chunk of the core beam of the Twin Towers. And we were able to put that on exhibit and tie in, because one of our local Gulfport residents happened to be in that tower when it was hit. Yeah, and she went down, what, 79 floors?
So she made it out.
She made it out. She said she averaged, looking back on it, she averaged 17 seconds per floor.
And she made it down 79 flights of stairs.
Made it down.
Holy
and
smoke.
Yeah.
What a long journey that was.
Yeah, so we had some pictures of her, actually a picture of what she had on that day, her key card, you know, her Metro card. So it kind of, you know, people say, well, how did the World Center and Katrina? But then she came back here and went through Katrina. I think she lost her house in Katrina. Is that Pam Stennis was the lady. So it was kind of, you know, it brought it home to us.
Yeah.
So we had that exhibit up until December. And in October, when we had Cruising the Coast, we were open, had a fantastic, I think we had 70-some people come in, and we had a book sale. So we're going to try to do that as a continuing thing with our book sale.
So now, what is the thrust of the exhibits?
One of the things that we've done from the beginning is work with the schools, specifically elementary schools in the area in Gulfport. We have a teacher there that's very interested in what we're doing. And so what we're doing, and this is what she's doing, is we're highlighting African Americans who are from Gulfport, who either left the area and really made good and are well known outside the area, or people locally who have made a real difference in the community from the African American community. Of course, we always have information on John C. Robinson, the brown condor, and we'll have a lot of information on him. But some of the people also, there's an opera singer from Gulfport who lives in Austria now and has a PhD in anthropology. There's just many, many people who have left town and who have stayed.
So who is the opera singer?
Rochelle Potter.
So she is now living in Austria.
Austria.
And she's working professionally.
Yeah, well, she's probably retired by now, but she grew up in the Magnolia Grove area of Gulfport. And as last I heard, her family still has a home there.
I'll be darned. Isn't that amazing? Well, what would you like to tell us about the things that are upcoming, the biggest thing that's upcoming right now, or the plans for the next exhibits you've got in mind?
Well, we've got a good bit of memorabilia about some of the buildings that were there before. And one of the things we thought would be pertinent would be a display about the Markham Hotel, because we have a number of artifacts from the Markham, and there's some interest in it since it is being renovated, and we're very happy that we have the opportunity to do that.
And the Markham Hotel is an old famous hotel in Gulfport?
Yes, it is. It was built in the 20s.
And so it's being redone?
It's been renovated in downtown Gulfport right now.
Well, that's nice.
Yes.
That's a
I think everybody that grew up in Gulfport probably swam in that pool.
Yes.
The public was allowed to, was it 25 cents or something, that you had to pay to go swim in the pool.
So we plan to have, we have 2 rooms, but we plan to have small meetings there. And we have had over the last, it's been 10 years now, we started in 2010, before we had a location, and have had monthly meetings that highlight different history either of the coast or of the state, and did have a meeting in November in a historic church, the former St. Matthew's Lutheran Church, which is it's a 50s type church. I can't think of the word right now.
Mid-century
modern. Thank you very much. And but right now, one of our problems with having meetings is we had too many people, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. Well, good luck with the upcoming season, and thank you for coming again.
Well, thank
and
you
we'll
so
have to
much.
have you back next year, right?
There you go. Maybe not,
We'll
but
just
maybe
keep
before.
Maybe before. We'll keep the tradition going.
That's it.
Maybe we'll get together a little sooner than a year.
Thank you. We enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you so
coming today.
much.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you.